Here's something that should terrify every luxury brand on the planet. Rolex customers, people who waited years, saved tens of thousands of dollars, and dreamed of owning just one watch, are now actively telling others to avoid the brand. Not because the watches got worse, not because something cheaper came along, but because Rolex forgot the most basic rule of business: respect the people who made you legendary. And I'm not talking about a few disgruntled shoppers leaving bad reviews. I'm talking about a full-blown revolt. Entire online communities dedicated to exposing what's really happening behind those pristine boutique windows. Luxury watch collectors, the same people who once defended Rolex with religious fervor, now warning newcomers to stay away. So what happened? How does the most trusted name in watchmaking turn its biggest fans into its loudest critics? Let's start with the moment everything changed. Around 2018, something strange started happening. Walk into an authorized Rolex dealer with cash in hand, ready to buy, and suddenly, nothing's available. The Submariner? Sold out. The GMT Master? 2-year waiting list? Even the basic Datejust models? You'd have to build a relationship with the dealer first. Now, you might think, okay, maybe demand just exploded. Maybe everyone suddenly wanted a Rolex at the same time. But here's where it gets suspicious. Those same watches that were unavailable in the authorized dealer, they'd magically appear online the next day, being sold by gray market dealers for double, sometimes triple the retail price. Coincidence? Customers didn't think so. And neither did the regulators who started investigating. The game worked like this. You walk into an authorized dealer wanting to buy, let's say, a $10,000 Submariner. The salesperson would smile politely and tell you it's out of stock. But, and here's the twist, they just got in this beautiful $40,000 gold day date. Not interested in that? Well, maybe you'd like this $15,000 ladies' watch for your wife. Not married. Awkward silence. This is what customers started calling bundling. Want the watch you actually came for? You'd better buy 2 or 3 you don't want first. Prove you're serious. Build that relationship. Translation: spend $60,000 to maybe, possibly, eventually get on the list for the $10,000 watch you wanted in the first place. Can you imagine walking into any other store and being treated like this? Sorry, we can't sell you those running shoes unless you also buy a treadmill and a stationary bike. You'd walk out and never come back. But Rolex customers, they stayed. They played the game. Because the brand had convinced them it was worth it. Until it wasn't. See, luxury isn't just about the product. It's about how you're made to feel. And somewhere along the way, Rolex forgot that the people buying their watches weren't just wallets with legs. They were doctors who saved for years, entrepreneurs who'd built something from nothing, people for whom buying a Rolex represented a milestone, a moment of achievement, and Rolex treated them like beggars. Stories started flooding forums and social media. A man who'd been a loyal customer for 20 years, owned 3 Rolexes already, walked in to buy his son a graduation present, told to wait. Indefinitely. Meanwhile, he watched celebrities and Instagram influencers posting their new Rolex within days of visiting the same boutique. Another story, a customer finally got the call. After 3 years on the waiting list, his dream watch was ready. He rushed to the boutique, credit card in hand, practically shaking with excitement. The salesperson looked him up and down and casually mentioned, "Oh, by the way, we noticed you sold one of your previous Rolexes. We can't sell to flippers." The watch he'd sold, a gift from his late father that he'd parted with during financial hardship. But Rolex didn't care about the story. They just cared about control. The message was clear. We own you. Play by our rules. Be grateful we're even considering selling to you. And then, because apparently that wasn't enough, they kept raising prices. Year after year. Not because the watches got better, not because costs went up significantly, but because they could. The waiting lists proved it. People would pay anything. Why not squeeze out every possible dollar? But here's what Rolex didn't see coming. While they were playing their games, something was happening in the wings. Other brands were watching, learning, and they saw an opportunity. Omega started offering comparable quality with 0 games. Walk in, buy it, Walk out? Imagine that. Grand Seiko came to the party with technical excellence that matched or exceeded Rolex at half the price. Tudor, Rolex's own sister brand, started eating their lunch by offering actually desirable watches that customers could, actually buy. And customers who dreamed of Rolex their entire lives? And they started buying these alternatives instead, not as consolation prizes, but as their first choice. Because they realized something powerful. There are plenty of amazing watches in the world, but self-respect? That's priceless. The loyal Rolex forums that once buzzed with excitement about new releases, they turned into support groups for people sharing their horror stories. The YouTube channels that used to salivate over every new model. They started making videos titled, "Why I'm Done with Rolex," that got millions of views. Rolex thought they were untouchable, that their history, their prestige, their reputation were so strong that customers would accept any treatment. They were wrong. Today, the cracks are showing. Gray market prices are falling. Those investment pieces that flippers were selling for double retail? Now struggling to sell at retail price. Waiting lists are shrinking. And most telling of all, customers who do finally get the call are saying no. Think about that. After years of waiting, they're turning down the very watch they once obsessed over. Not because they can't afford it anymore, but because somewhere during that wait, they realized they didn't want to be part of a club that treated them this poorly. The luxury watch community learned an important lesson. Exclusivity is only valuable when it's paired with respect. Scarcity is only appealing when it's genuine. And no brand, no matter how legendary, is bigger than the customers who built it. Rolex built an empire on trust, quality, and the dream that anyone who worked hard enough could earn their place at the table. And then they forgot that dreams only work when they're actually achievable, when they don't come with humiliation, manipulation, and disrespect attached. They crossed the line, and their customers are walking away. The question now isn't whether Rolex can make great watches. Of course they can. The question is whether they can rebuild the trust they shattered, whether they can remember that luxury isn't just about the product in the box. It's about the experience of buying it, the feeling you get when you put it on for the first time, the pride of ownership that doesn't come with a side of shame. What do you think? Is Rolex done, or can they come back from this? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you found this eye-opening, make sure to subscribe, because we're diving into more stories of brands that forgot who made them successful. Trust me, you won't want to miss what's coming next.